Hello and welcome everyone back to the penultimate round of the British Superbike Championship here on GPB. Today we're off to Thruxton, the fastest circuit in the United Kingdom and definitely one of the fastest in the whole world really. It's a ridiculous venue here, an old airstrip that is transferred into this racetrack, which is a very common occurrence in the United Kingdom. A lot of racetracks are old kind of drag strips, airstrips, all that kind of stuff that are kind of over the years have turned into racetracks. Now there's only two kind of slow corners really on this track. There's one chicane in the first sector, which on a normal track you wouldn't consider it to be slow, but just on such a high-speed track like this, it's pretty slow in comparison. And then we have this chicane we're coming into now, which is the final couple of corners. Fortunately, we have no replay shots this week. Again, more issues with hosting, so literally the race ended and just lobby shot, so nobody got any of the replays unfortunately, so a lot of the footage of the outboard shots have been removed from this one as I don't have it. Unfortunately, there's been a lot of issues throughout the season with hosting settings not being right, so a lot of the videos have depended on up and down on that in terms of quality. Now on the grid, qualify middle of the second row, and we get a belting start when the lights hold for about 6 weeks. Right in front gets a wheelie who's now jumped onto a different bike for this race. We've up his inside and we have a weird little collision with there. I throw my hand up and say sorry to him. Someone goes up my inside and almost kills me. And that's all before turn 2. And even at turn 2, somebody blinks. The whole server is blinking, which usually means there's connectivity issues. So we end up on a really negative kind of defensive line into the slower chicane that I was saying a while ago. That's not actually that slow. These corners are still 70-80 miles an hour, so not slow, but compared to what we're about to see now, it does feel Mickey Mouse. But real life, this track is always dominated by Yamahas. Currently Chase Back is in P2. I think just made a small mistake just on cue there and runs wide, leaves Triton through on the BMW, but it's very much a track that if the bike can turn on power and just kind of rotate nicely, which the R1 usually does, and it's very much a tyre conservative race where you'll see towards the end of the races sometimes the Kawasaki's go forward. The R1s are great in these races, so it's definitely 4 across the frame suited racetrack. So myself and Melina first and fourth currently on the V's. Might struggle here a bit more because it's actually a horrific track. It's just horrible in real life for the Ducatis. It's always been like one of their weakest links. They just do not get on well here in British spec. So coming here, it was going to be a real interesting one because we've not had many races this season that have been probably as different as this. We've had some awkward tracks, some good tracks, some probably less good tracks, but we've had no tracks that are like real. This is almost like, feels like a road race because it's so fast, you're so committed ever, there's nowhere to rest, there's nowhere to save a bit of tire, and you kind of have to just really ride within yourself. Unfortunately, big incident here, 2 guys in front, Triton goes wide, comes back, and I think Chase Black was just taking his line, and unfortunately 2 points on a graph and they just meet in the middle really, and that's put us up to P2. And of course we are fighting the guy in front, Melina, my teammate, for this title, so this was in a way a good result for me because already on lap 2 there we were pretty much up to second. Now we've jumped to the start of lap 8 and my pace was better than my teammate. I've been very close to him all season. He's probably had the edge in most races. There's been a couple I've probably had him, and this one I definitely was quicker. Now the only issue with this track, and the easiest way to make an overtake, is to just level someone on the brakes into a slower corner, go for a block pass. Unfortunately this place doesn't have any of them corners really. The last chicane, you come in leaning left, you then end up changing direction right into a real little tight Nadri first gear chicane. It's not nice, it's not a place I want to be making overtakes. And through these long hanging corners, while we're still trying to save a bit of tire, it's very hard to set up a move. Now you'll see the real line changes between us. I'm very much have the bike up, trying to use the center of the tire, whereas Melina use a lot more road, but then we end up on the same part of the track coming through this very fast corner. I believe it's called Church. It's in real life it's an absolute belting corner, you just fly through there. If you've never seen any BSB races, I really recommend watching some of the years Jason O'Halloran won around here because they were some stunning races. You can see in here, it's just not a great place to go for an overtake. It's very one line and it's very easy to clout across one of these curbs and hit someone. So again, the run into turn 1, not long enough unless someone in front makes a mistake. It's into, again, 100 mile an hour pretty much at the apex, so it's into a very fast corner. This next kind of sequence here, you want to be really alongside one and have a very good confident front end. You can actually hear it, I don't know if you can hear it maybe through the channel to YouTube, but Uber has a big look at me there on the right side. You can just hear the audio go right to my inside, so he definitely showed the wheel, it just didn't come up on screen. So he's probably in the same boat where At this point, of the three of us, Melina was definitely the slowest. I was second quickest, and the fastest guy was in third. So we're all kind of having a bit of an accordion effect where we're coming together. I couldn't get past Melina. I just couldn't get anywhere close enough to really get a move. And I think the same position that the V4 had good power, and I think Uber was struggling to kind of find a place past me. So we were in a very interesting situation here on lap 9. And we were all waiting for a mistake or something to happen. And through here, I just fell through the high-speed stuff. I was just a bit better than Melina. Get a good run out of here. Just goes out to the middle track just to defend. It's almost like he knows that I got a better run, and he does brake ridiculously late, which just puts him a metre wide. But through here, that really catches him. I get a much better run through here. Just get on the power slightly too early looking back, to be honest, but we're right in the back wheel of him now. No interest in trying to pass him, but he's actually just that bit slower than me into turn 1, and we almost lock the front and kill him. So unfortunately, we're just talking about how it was pretty much nearly impossible for anyone to pass, and unfortunately we end up leaving Uber through. So at this point now, I was a little bit I got a bit of a fright, not gonna lie about that one, because I literally locked the front at lean and nearly hit my teammate. That would have been terrible. We jumped forward a lap, and Uber's gotten the move done into the chicane, so the Honda working very well again for Uber in Thruxton, and he's doing a very good job. He's taking the lead now. At this point, to be honest, right, he's taking the lead. He was taking the points off my main championship rival at this point. Foxer was only down in a P10, so we were taking big points off him, so he wasn't really going to be a threat to me at this point going into the final round. So it was going to be between two of the Bear Monster V4Rs. So at this point I was thinking, you know what, if Uber just clears off, that's 5 points less for Melina to take into the final round. So I was kind of thinking, so this is probably the best thing that could happen, because there was one point where he caught me in the race. Like, will I just leave Uber through and see if he can take, because like me finishing second to Melina, if Melina wins it, I lose 5 points, whereas if I finish in third, he's second, it's actually less points lost, so it would have been better for me. Now we jump to the start of lap 13, couple to go, back on the pace. We've gone faster than our qualifying lap. We are pretty much all over the back of Melina again. I just felt I was quicker. We try a little look in here, but I go so aggressive. He doesn't see me till late. Gives me a bit of room in fairness to him. Good respect between the two of us. But again, I just wasn't close enough to get the move done. And like a corner like that, like there's nobody going to have that much over each other at this level at the front. We're not going to be able to outbrake each other by that much. So it would have been a real kind of kamikaze move. Through the high speed, I feel like I just have a bit more roll speed through the corner than him, but it just doesn't really lead to anything when you don't have a braking zone at the end of it. So a lot of these corners, you'll notice now though, lap 13 of 15, we are pretty much screwing the tyre. You'll see here in just a second, she just starts spinning a bit more than I've been usually doing. So we're just trying to use everything we have now. I think this is Blitz in front of us, one of the back markers, so we get great run through church, good bit of slipstream. Unfortunately, Melina just pulls out at the wrong time for us. We just have to roll the throttle, which pushes us very much to the inside of the track, and you can't really, like, there's no way I could outbrake him on the wrong side of the track into a very difficult corner. So if anything, from the split second we nearly overtook him, we've actually lost time into the last chicane and pretty much over the line. The gap has actually gotten bigger, so it's very difficult. Like I said, I did just a small bit more pace, I felt, but I felt it nearly impossible to actually put it into practice and make an overtake, because again, you're nowhere near through the high speed corners like this. It's so hard when you're both on throttle that the kind of accordion cap can grow slightly to the point where you can actually just level someone, and you're not going to be able to at the front of a race where the pace was also similar. You're not going to be able to just roll underneath someone with so much extra corner speed. You might have an extra mile or two here and there to make a bit of a difference, but it was so hard. I really think that it probably would have ended Melina, me and Uber if I didn't make that mistake. I don't see how anyone could have passed anyone, because we saw Uber when he got clear track, he was quicker. If I could have got past Melina, I reckon I could have been quicker, but I just couldn't get the move done on him, and it just was kind of a difficult one. But we've done a very good race so far, really good race pace. We've managed our tyre well, and at this point now we're just trying to give it everything, really spinning it again through the long rights, really killing the temperature on the rubber. But he's actually done a very, very clean penultimate lap. We do kind of again close up into the chicane as normal as you expect, but it's going to be very difficult on this last lap to kind of get anything. We're pretty close to him. We've been closer than the lap before. Yeah, 12.2, very good. And there's just whatever way I take corner entry, I just take a small bit more speed in. I don't seem to lose maybe as much through the long corners, but again, like there's very little place you can overtake. We're very close in the chicane here, but it's going to be near impossible. We're touch wide there, and I remember at the time thinking, shit, that was it. That was the move. That was the kind of moment there where like I've just given him kind of free rein to roll away. That's probably a lap or two of progress I've lost there, but we're still not going to give up. We're still really pushing on. He's left a lot more margin, I felt, throughout the race, most laps through there, but that lap he absolutely nailed it. Some lag again coming into it, but he's doing a pretty decent last lap. He's just keeping it clean, and there's not really much I can do. Again, he goes to that wide line. We are absolutely spinning the bejesus out of it. You can see there, massively steps out, which isn't something I very do often. I don't really slide the bike that much. I try and keep it very much wheels in line, fast way around the track for me. You can see both of us on the grass there, just trying to keep as much of the roll speed and the momentum through the corner. We have a look behind. We know we have a big gap to Chase Black behind, and we just go in so hot. We nearly go across the curb. And at this point, I'm thinking, right, let's just not blow this now. Let's just tip around. We know Chase is there, but realistically, he's not going to be able to get us to the line. So just going to square off the corner and run to the line. He was pretty close in the end, but we had it under control. P3 for me, again, another podium. Good result for Chase Black to catch back up in the end, but I just felt like that just didn't really have anything at this track for overtaking. It was such a hard track to overtake at, and it really was a difficult one to kind of make any moves, even if you had a bit of pace. So it was a nice one to race. But the race results are as follows. Uber, as you saw, took the win once he got into the lead. He was rapid. I was P3, Melina in P2. So again, two of us on the podium, very regular. I think we have the team championship already wrapped up. Chase Black bringing home in P4, Triton with the crash with Chase Black 5th, Endrick Biker Africa 6th, 7th and 8th, and the main rivals behind was Boxer in 9th. So again, big points lost for him, so that kind of puts him out of contention for the championship as we jump now to the championship standings. One race to go. I have a 16-point lead over my teammate, and I have 21 points over Boxer. That pretty much guarantees that Boxer has to win in the final race, and I have to score less than 3 points basically. If it goes on count back, I think he'll then take it because he's already won a race. And in terms of Melina, I need 10 points because he's won 2 to my 1 race. So a lot of maths being done at this point, but we've 1 race to go. It's coming all down to the last race. There's still 3 people technically in it, and unfortunately for Uber and the likes of Chase Black, a couple of mistakes, some dropped points definitely throughout the season. I think Chase Black has been missing for a race or 2 as well, so fortunately they are now out of it. So 1 race, 3 riders. It's a interesting championship, this one. It's going to be a fun one, so I'm looking forward to the finale. The finale is up in Scotland at Knockhill, so a real tight, twisty track, very difficult, and I guarantee we will see some bad weather in Scotland. But thank you all for watching. Hope you have enjoyed. I shall see you in a future episode of the BSB Championship. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.